he might retire.
I thought he retired.
They got some. They
My
got
old
some.
boss says hello.
Yeah, I know
Watch
Greg,
your back.
but I thought he retired.
Because Liz Riley was there for a while, and she
He's
left.
doing some plumbing work at the Riley Soul.
What's going on with, boy, changed their name? Yeah.
You ever heard
Now,
of this
well,
guy?
what's the name of the firm?
Doug Tellamy?
Azar.
Fabulous.
Azar
Don't bring up the secrets
Construction
with Caterpillar.
Consultant.
It's talk about
Oh, really?
why do we do?
Well, Greg, who's the president there, Greg
I'm kind of reading it.
Barbalotta,
Yeah.
Started
he's the
over
minority.
again.
That's how they got minority.
Since I'm not that.
You know, his dad was Rick Azar,
Pick up anything new?
sportscaster.
Yeah.
That's where the name came from.
Like reading a text in a way.
Well, there's a couple
So I do.
minorities that are not no longer minorities anymore.
It's hard to. It's hard to.
Who lost it?
Sienna Environmental is no longer.
Well, they got absorbed by it.
Well, that pension makes it all worth it, Carlos.
And
Still on, well, Encoris is still service veteran.
what's that?
Encoris is veteran.
Oh,
Service.
Oh, no, I have it here.
we they're not required as much as the other ones.
No, not as much, but they're starting to. I mean,
The other one is Pathfinder.
Grab those glasses.
Really?
Yeah.
change of ownership.
They got the minority wanted to get out,
Yeah.
so they got purchased by, I think it's IMEG, IMEG, some big
National
national engineering firm.
Yeah, the,
We used to use both of them to try to fulfill our requirements, and now they're both.
I mean, they didn't look like cars that even existed.
they use Pathfinder for mechanical.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to use the disabled vets on our state contracts for water and sewer. Anytime we have grants from DEC or EFC or
I mean, if we, well, a lot of times we'll use Baroness or Trophy Point to fulfill that.
cost estimating.
Yeah. Because usually service disabled is a small
Yeah, it's a small percentage.
piece compared to the rest of them.
When we were doing federal work, when I was with TVJ, we did a lot of federal work, a lot of survey federal work.
Thanks, John.
Towards the end, the service disabled vets came in there a long time ago. They ended up with you had to have a percent of gay.
Cindy, are you good on that one?
So what?
We're not on this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
By the time we got done, we were giving like 60 or 70% of the job.
Probably the input. Yeah, the input.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
The input.
That's. I'm in single digit years trying to get out because I can't handle that. All that
Oh, it was brutal.
It's terrible. We got to scratch and thaw for everything, and people get stuff given to them for years and years and years.
It might be, she might too.
Oh, we. Hey, Cindy, are we live?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me to shut up?
Okay, that's good.
I think it's on.
We're good.
Good thing he knows what he's doing.
Okay, 7 o'clock, we're gonna start this meeting. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Cindy.
Chair Jones.
Here.
Rebecca Anderson.
Here.
John Coltis.
Here.
Anthony Gorski.
Here.
Joseph Keith.
Here.
Lawrence Krasneski.
Here.
Michael Ryan.
Here.
Okay, welcome everyone. This is a meeting of the Planning Board of the Town of Lancaster. Please keep in mind that we are an advisory and recommending board only and not a final decision-making body. At this point, we'll move to the minutes from our previous sorry about that, and ask for any modifications. Hearing none, ask for a motion to accept.
So moved. I'll second.
Larry and Tony. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great, thank you. Next, we'll move on to the communications list. Rather lengthy list, sorry about that, but that's what happens when we miss a meeting. Hopefully everyone enjoyed their spring break. Okay. We'll move on then. We'll start with our first case of the day, Anastasi, site plan and subdivision. Hi, Ken.
Hi, good evening. Ken Zalich with the engineering firm GPI. Also with me tonight is Jeff Colombo of Block and Longo, representing Anastasi on their proposed soil storage building located on Pavement Road. This is, if you recall, we were here a little while back to initially present this. Basically, it's an open air, or open on some of the sides there, covered over the top storage building so that they can process and treat soil on there and keep it dry. This is located on just a very small piece of the property itself. If you go to the, let's see, probably the middle one, the site plan was hill fence there. I don't know how to,
Cindy,
You guys-
the tab in the middle. Up
okay.
top,
All right,
tab
well,
in the
that,
middle.
you know, this works. You can see the location of it is right up in the corner there, and that's on the whole property here. Now, I understand, last time we were in front of this board, there's some issues over some non-conforming lot that was previously subdivided before Anastasi purchased the property. They bought it from Callbacks. Callbacks retained the center portion, which didn't have frontage on Pavement Road. That became, I guess, somewhat of the sticking point here with the town. A variance was applied for that property, but ultimately denied. So we're back here tonight. We have looked at it, and there's a consideration now for providing that 100-foot frontage along Pavement Road to get back to that property. If you go to the, let's see, it should be the, there was a preliminary plat map that I sent over, PL1. Nope. I know it was, there you go, right, that one.
That one.
Yep.
Sorry.
All right, so if you just scroll down a little bit, you can see that is where we would be proposing the strip of property to join the center. Currently non-conforming property, so that we do have frontage on Pavement Road that would then extend back.
Wait a minute, you've got the whole thing split in two with a little piece across the front that extends to the north and then the other piece. Are those joined or is it?
As it stands right now, this property is one, this property is one, and then there's another property in the northeast.
But is
What
it-
we're proposing is a 100-foot strip along the southern property line, so that way they have access there, at least I mean, access would probably still, in all reality, be through the easements on the property. They're not going to be putting a new road here. This is strictly to conform with the town code.
So where would the road, would come in off the pavement and then go all the way
There-
across and then go to the back?
There is no new proposed roads. I mean,
No, but that's your place where you would put it. If you were to have access to the property on the left, is what you're
they
saying.
already have access from an access easement that's located here. You can see the dashed lines. You can
Okay.
get there up here, or there's a southern spur that brings it back that way as well.
I guess I'm just kind of thick. Why, what is that portion across the bottom for then?
It's to make it a conforming lot.
To make it a conforming lot because
You're going to hear from
we were denied the variance to, basically, this centerpiece as of today, right now, doesn't have frontage on pavement road, and that makes it a non-conforming lot in the town of Lancaster. The variance to leave it as is
That
was
lot,
denied.
a non-conforming lot.
Right, our lot, Anastasi's lot is perfectly fine, which is
That's what I
what we were
thought.
originally stating. There's no issue with Anastasi's lot, other than the fact that they bought it,
Okay.
and when they bought it and wanted to come in for a site plan,
Okay.
the issue there was
Okay.
raised.
I kept hearing non-conforming
Okay.
lot, and I,
No,
it wasn't clear to
yeah,
me what you're talking about.
our clients,
Thank you.
the developer for this site has a conforming lot, but he got caught in the middle where he's trying to fix other people's sins.
Got it, thank you.
Was that it, Ken?
That's all I've got. There's really not much to this.
Any other questions or comments from the board? No. Ed, anything from engineering?
No, for the topsoil building, we were fine.
Emily, anything from legal?
Is it just proposed right now, or have you already subdivided the property, like separated out that?
It's currently proposed. There has been no deeds filed or transfer of property
Okay.
at this point.
I would just recommend that we have that as a condition that the deed is filed before town board approval. Okay.
Matt, from the building department,
When
quick.
was this information provided to the town for review? Has it been provided?
I don't know that it's reached you yet, Matt. Yeah, I mean, this was
First time
something
I've
that, I mean, we were just notified at the end of last week. that
Here's
we-
our recommendation. Provide the 12 copies so that the boards and everybody involved can review it, make sure that it's proper. Make sure it's going to include the deeds, descriptions of the two parcels as is proposed to be filed, as well as the access agreement between the two properties that allows access without actually putting a driveway out on a paper road. And then just let the town review it before we render a decision. I was scratching my head as to how it was on the agenda tonight, but the reality is let's look at it, make sure it's right. Let the attorney review all the legalese that has to get filed before we say go ahead and file it. I just want to prevent another.
And honestly, it's on the agenda tonight because we were looking to move forward with the site plan.
Okay. And is there any provision for that quasi-parking area that people are utilizing for that walking trail? I know that there was a stone pad provided there by the Anastasi's as
No, no, that-
as a good gesture to the town to allow people to park on their lot. I do notice that it's been holding water since it was installed. Not a part of the project, not a part of the subdivision, but it's there. We want to accommodate that if it's something that the town is interested in allowing parking there for the residents that are utilizing that walking trail.
Okay. Anything else, Matt?
No, that's it, thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, I don't disagree with what Matt is saying, but I'm just wondering if you can approve the
For your name and name.
Jeff Palumbo,
Yes.
the attorney for Mr. Anastasi,
Yep.
conditionally so that we can submit the documents. It won't be much. We'll have a legal description and a deed that will be submitted and reviewed. I'd prefer not to wait another month if that's acceptable to the board. This has been going on, as you know, for some time, and Gary would really like to get that building up.
I do, I could appreciate that. This is the very first time that we've heard anything about that, so, or seen this.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, except it's got 100-foot access now, which is what the town required. It's the same plan.
Okay. Supervisor Leary.
I concur with the code enforcement officer that we need to review all this before anything is done with it. Review what? Exactly. Review everything that the code enforcement officer has asked for, so we can take a look at it and the town can look at it.
At this point, I'm sorry, Supervisor, are you, any other
I'm done.
comments?
Thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you. At this point, I'll open up to the public for any comments or questions. Okay, hearing none, look to the board at this point.
I think we need to table. When is the next meeting?
May 1st.
May 1st.
Right, May 1st.
Well, that's 2 weeks out.
How quickly can, well, doesn't, we're meeting May 1st, or is our next meeting? And we're probably already past the date for submission.
We're in process. I mean, if we can have it this week so that everybody can look at it, get some eyes on it before we make an informative decision for recommendation.
Yep.
That's all we ask. I mean, it's
We can do that.
it's not a tall lift.
Yeah, yeah, I-
Dotting the i's, crossing the t's, making sure the deeds are accurate
Yep.
as it relates to the surveys, and making sure that those cross-access agreements are beneficial to both parties.
We really do want to make sure that we can move forward. It's
That's
just-
fine. May 1st is the time.
Okay. All right, that being said, I think that we should, I would recommend that we table. In fact, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Tabled for May 1st.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please get us that information as quickly as possible. Okay, we'll move on now to Upstate Niagara Cooperative Pergola.
All right, good evening. My name is Mary Stebline. I'm with Labella Associates. And tonight I have here with me from Genie Solar, Nathan and Bill, back here.
Hello.
And we're here to present the pergola structure proposed for Niagara Cooperative at 368 Pleasant View Drive. The pergola will be a 73 feet by 25 foot canopy structure that will have a 25 kilowatt solar array mounted on top of it. It will be supported by 10 posts that have concrete footings that are 3 feet in diameter and 3 foot in diameter and 4 foot deep. There's no slab proposed under this canopy, so it will be grass underneath. As you can see, it's behind the building, and the supporting equipment that will be provided to go along with the solar array include an inverter, which you can see here, and then a meter that will be placed at the building. The other thing I wanted to point out here is the inclusion of a silt fence. We do not expect that silt will be a major problem during, or the sediment will be a major problem during construction, but we wanted to include that as well. We understand that this is in the AR zoning district, and it's an existing non-conforming use. The facility currently rents a tent in order to have events outside during the nice weather, and this will allow them to have a more permanent structure as well as be able to offset some of their utility bills with the production of the solar power. I mean, there's not much more to this project. If there's anything else you'd like me to address, I'd be happy to discuss it.
Okay, thank you. At this point, we'll open up to the board for any questions or comments.
Is that the location they typically put the tent up when they get it?
Yes.
It is. Okay. Cool. Cool.
Any other questions or comments? No? Ed, from engineering.
I've not received a site plan yet for the project. That's the only thing I've received, and it doesn't meet the requirements of the town.
Okay. Understanding this is just our first look at it, but we haven't received a site plan.
Okay, I believe the submission was made.
That was what was submitted.
Yes.
That doesn't meet the criteria for the town.
Okay.
Anything
Did
else?
you get the email for the applicant too? I know that was the question in March.
I don't think, no,
Okay. Because when you sent the email requesting the site plan, I think it only went to us. Because you also wrote you didn't have an email.
right, I didn't have an email for the
The
applicant.
request to it, so maybe on the way out, just kind of write it down. Or,
Anything else, Ed?
No.
Emily, anything from legal? Matt?
It's a pretty simple project, and we only have to deal with the non-conforming use through the zoning. I hope there are comments from the attorney's office would concur with that. Whether or not it's going to fall on this board is acting, I believe it's going to fall on the zoning board of appeals to do the environmental quality review so it can render its decision at the hearing date. This is a very simple type 2 action as it relates to site plan. You just have to get through the zoning requirements. It's a non-conforming use. I'm assuming that the application is already made for the May hearing.
It has not been, because we've had no communication indicating that.
So my correspondence to everybody involved with my comment letter included that non-compliance form. The town clerk was copied on that email with clear direction that application needs to be made to the town clerk's office to get your public hearing scheduled and notice so that they can follow through with their end of that process.
Matt, anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. Supervisor O'Leary?
I'm just, again, it doesn't seem like all the things that should have been done have been done up to this point, so I don't know what the plan is for this evening.
I can't hear you. Yeah, this was just yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
It's just a presentation at this
Thank
point.
you.
Yep.
No other questions then?
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? At this point, we'll open up for any public comments, questions. So, have we tabled the past presentation?
We can't take action. So, non-official site plan review, because we don't have a site plan, an official site plan. That we need an official site plan. We need application and to the zoning board of appeals and variance for the use. I believe it's the use variance. So, actually, I don't think we need to take action.
yeah, once you have an official site plan,
Or to be
we'll do a
attorney.
review
Right,
after a
yeah, right,
variance.
right,
So,
yeah.
yeah, it's not a holdup, it's just the next step
You
would be
can,
to,
yeah, you could table it, but you don't need to take any action on it. without
So
the site plan
tabling
review.
Yeah.
If we table it, it shows that we took some kind of an action, and then identify the pending, the items that are missing.
Table until you have a site plan review on the table.
Okay.
And variance. There's
You
two
are-
things, right?
They need
You
to
are
go
aware
down
of all
to
the
ZBA first.
requirements that we've thrown at you so far?
Well, I guess I have one question, if that's.
Sure, yeah.
So will the project be considered a minor solar facility?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
the physical installation of these structures it's a minor installation on top of a structure, an accessory structure. We need to get relief from the zoning variance to allow a non-conforming use to expand.
Okay, yes.
We got
then-
all that?
Yes.
Well, I'll look for the board for a motion then. Motion table.
I guess you're looking at me. I'll make a motion to table to a future meeting, provided that the two items discussed and provided the variance has been approved for the use variance
Site plan.
and site plan can be submitted right away, of course. And gets reviewed.
Okay.
Anyone care to second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, looks like we're going to move on to Eastport. Sure.
Well, our friend said site plan review, and I think they were thinking of the site plan review, but unless he has a piece of paper for site plan, and every single item on it that's listed for a site plan.
Send it off the
With
site plan.
the distances and the square footage.
Oh,
shown.
don't click configure. Like,
So,
I mean, it'll speed it up,
yeah,
I guess,
it's
for us.
simple.
But
What do they do there? Used to be E&E, and I've heard that building if you my former. Yeah, but it's not anymore. And so, my former kind of.
maybe someone will, go fund me, donate.
So she invited me over one time and and we were basically in the building. They don't have air conditioning. They opened the room. What is it?
It was just the item right below.
It's actually really funny.
They didn't actually complete the site application down, or did they?
Well, there's not there's a submission for site plan.
Yeah.
I like to know.
It's not a lot of detail. It's
There's
just
all kinds of proof.
name, contact.
And then they just have.
People make whole rooms.
Yeah, Ariel would be perfect.
This makes it a lot easier to drag all the boards. I'm
Yeah.
excited about this.
We made it easier on you, but tougher on us.
Yeah, I was
We gotta
gonna
figure out
say.
the technology.
You should get set up.
Yeah, but we have Cindy.
There you go. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Kirk. I'm the Director of Planning Design for Uniland Development. I'm here tonight to present a proposed project, an industrial project at our Eastport Commerce Center for site plan review. Quick background on the site. I think everybody's pretty familiar with our Eastport Commerce Park. We have about 128 acres there of land. At the corner of Walden Pavement, we are proposing this site is 11.34 acres. It's located on the outline here, which is along pavement and just north of Lancaster Parkway. If you wouldn't mind clicking on the next one for me, please. The number 2. So what we are proposing is we are proposing some smaller industrial buildings targeting professional contractors, startups, small businesses, places looking for storage. I think you guys are seeing this pop up around the town, and there seems to be quite the market for this right now. It's basically shorter leases, more flexibility for the tenants. It's readily available space. We're finding a lot of people looking for this kind of space. Don't want to wait the long period of time before we can build out larger storage type spaces. So we've had some experience with that, and we're finding this this market to be in the smaller, to be pretty valuable right now. So, yeah, that third one, if you don't mind. What we're proposing is 6 total buildings. The total square footage adds up to about 110,000 square feet. We are proposing to do it in 2 phases, where we would build 3 of the buildings of roughly 45,000 square feet on the southernmost portion of the site. Those 3 there. and assuming all goes well as we're expecting it to, we would build the 3 northern portion as well to get us up to potentially 110,000 square feet. The buildings range in depth. The first phase are 50 feet in depth. The buildings up to the north, the 2 go up to 72 feet. That has a lot to do with just the structure and type of building that it is with those dimensions. The square footage of the building ranges from 13,500 up to 24,000. The height of the building is 16 foot clear. It goes up to 20 feet at the peak. These are post-frame construction, so engineered wood frame buildings, and they will have metal siding exteriors. Each of the units is designed to be in the 4 portion here. Those are all 1,500 square feet per unit that we're targeting. Now that can be flexible. We expect to have some tenants that may want 3,000 or 4,500 square feet, where we would just give them multiple units. We're trying to make this as flexible as possible. The 2 larger depth buildings up there are designed more for 3,000 square feet each. So those would be a little bit bigger. All in all, just the maximum number of units would be 48 if everything worked out exactly how we're laying this out, but we probably expect it to be closer to maybe 25, 30 tenants in all, because I think you'll see people combining those spaces a little bit. Each unit does include a 12 by 14 overhead door. That is a great door. It has a man door to it, a heating unit. Nothing crazy about these. Individual restroom as needed. So it's a pretty simple floor plan. Touch a little bit on parking. We do have 80 car parks designed on the site right now. I'm sorry, 79, I apologize. And then we heard some concerns when we brought this up first to the town that some of these units are being built and the parking isn't quite adequate enough for what they need. So we've designed in an additional 36 spaces that are shown along this area here that we would not initially build, but we would have that if we got tenants that just required more parking and it became an issue. We had quite a lengthy review of agency comments. I did provide responses. I don't know if everybody had a chance to take a look through that. That was just a couple days ago, so I know that's a lot to take in. It was a decent amount for us to take in. So just want to touch on a couple quick items that I think were larger concerns. One being the wetlands. That there are no wetlands on this 11-acre site. We did have a delineation report done by our consultant, Davie Resource Group. They did review the report with the Army Corps of Engineers. We just have to kind of get that paperwork together, and we will get that into the town to show that. Just didn't have that ready by tonight. And then the other concern was the engineering comments from Mr. Schiller. They didn't reach our desk until yesterday, unfortunately, for some reason, so we haven't had a chance to go through and comment on those, but we will do that very soon with our civil engineer and get those back in as well. But otherwise, I'm happy to go through the questions and comments. It's quite a long list. I figured it's probably better if you guys just asked me what was specific to each of you, and we can kind of go from there. I guess the one last thing to just mention is we did do a sketch plan review with the town board in February. They did review it, had no issues with the concept.
Okay, thank you. At this point, we'll open it up to the board for any questions or comments.
I have plenty, but come on, you guys gotta have something. Come on, do you like the color? There's gotta be something.
Actually, I do like the dark.
I know Rebecca's gonna say, why are you cutting all the trees now?
Well, yeah, but I understand why they're cutting them down, because you can't build things in the middle of the trees. I do have comments on your landscaping plan. Okay. And it can be beefed up.
Okay.
And I have some ideas, but one thing I'd like, Cindy, could you please page down so we can see the top?
The north part?
Yeah, please, just kind of,
That's the part facing the residential.
no, the other way,
Up to the new.
the other way.
I do.
Okay.
I do have the landscape plan if you want to bring that up at some point.
Yeah, can we bring up the landscape
If you
plan? It's
go
all
into-
100. Well, I have it here.
Do you want me to?
Sure,
Yeah, if we can put it up there.
if you got it. Okay, your list of proposed species is a little fluffy. It's, I like to go with mostly native stuff. And for example, you have 2 red oak in that entire plan. I think you can change some of that around and make it less aesthetics and more function. But what was the one I saw that was?
So you're saying you want more red oak? or
We
less?
want more.
More.
But if you could also come around the corner and bring it down closer to that retention basin, it would be a north-south strip, about the same width.
Are you talking about along the easement there to the
Yeah,
west?
Not on the easement,
No, but you're talking about in that space.
parallel to it, above your stormwater management facility, but parallel to it, where as close to the stormwater as you get without encroaching, because you've got to do maintenance on those things. You don't want to get in the way of any piping or anything, but if you could bring that around the corner. And the reason I'm thinking that is because when you look at the whole section of Pleasant View, you've got houses that now, even though you're using pack lights and your lighting plan doesn't show going off the property, no one wants to see your lights. And if you could block that from looking east, that would be good. I'd appreciate that. And beef up your plan a little bit with more of the oaks and the maples. The landscaping along the frontage along the main road is whatever it is. But that brings us to the point of the driveways.
How did I know that was going to come up?
Pardon?
I said I knew that would come up.
Well, I'm gonna bring it up because none of these guys are doing it.
Matt also brought it up.
Matt
No,
brought
they
it
did.
up.
That was
Matt
brought up.
brought it
That was one of the issues.
Was it? I couldn't hear that part. But I just wondered what you're planning on doing because Matt brought it up in his communications. And again, an option would be just have the one roadway in and then have T-turn around or something in that area, or just nothing, just T-turn around where you come to the butt end, turn around and go back out the same way instead of looping around. You said yourselves you're not going to have big trucks like semis and stuff coming in.
Correct.
So you don't need a loop if that's the case. Am I correct?
Not necessarily. I mean, it does make for a little bit of a difficult turnaround that we're trying to avoid. That's,
Well, it makes it easier and nicer, but there's no reason you can't pull in and do a, you know.
There is some concern with the neighborhood.
that access on the pavement. Is the concern just traffic? Is it trucks? Just
Mostly traffic.
Just traffic in general?
On pavement.
Yes.
I just from the comments, and I sense the board, obviously, 3 curb cuts is a lot. Would the board at all accommodate one? And if we put it in the middle and kind of divided between the intersections there? Or is it just not going to happen kind of?
The zoning code is pretty specific when it talks about access management onto the state and county roadways. The purpose of this site's development and incorporating the town road was to provide access to all the areas within the complex. And it's an industrial complex, right? So we'll treat it as such. To provide 3 driveways along a stretch of roadway where one, we have the intersection of this complex with the one to the east, and then another problematic intersection north at Pleasantview Paver Road. We're incorporating 3 additional driveways where we can, by design, eliminate those. Okay, so you can try to get relief from the requirement, but it's pretty specific in the overlay district how it's laid out for access management. And again, we want to encourage growth on this site. It's long overdue. Well, let's do it properly so that we don't end up with the woes we have on Transit Road today, right? By ignoring the access management overlay district on Transit Road, that's what we have. We certainly don't want to encourage that on Walton, Genesee, pavement, all of the other development areas that are available for growth.
And Mr. Kirk, if you take one thing away from, I hope you heard and listened to everything that Matt had to say, but if you take one thing away from that, it's we want to encourage development here, but we want to do it smartly.
Understood. Do I, can I at least have the town consider that, or is it?
In order to consider it, we'd have to go through.
We could provide documentation and navigate through the zoning requirements.
Okay.
We'd be happy to help you walk through that.
It's just, it's one of those things I'll bring back to my group and let them decide if that's the process and whether we want to go through it.
Yep, understand.
Okay, yeah, then we'll speak about that one, Matt, if you don't mind. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure you're not done.
Well, I just have one more question. The application before this was talking about putting up solar panels, and they're putting up a gazebo to put more solar. They have some on the building. I'm just wondering, do you ever consider providing solar panels on these buildings and providing electricity other than off the grid? I'm just wondering if the buildings would hold them up, or if the roofs would need to be different, because you face, I don't know which way the buildings face, but they're peaked, so they have half and half, right?
Yeah, half of them face
Half of them
south.
face south. So I guess my question is, we're supposed to be looking at alternative energy sources, even in small, this is not a ginormous development, but we never seem to bring it up as a board, and I'm changing my ways.
I think that's a legitimate question, and I have no problems bringing that back. We've actually, a couple developments recently, we've built our buildings to incorporate
Right.
that on the roof. So it's a question, to be blunt about it, it's a question of dollar cents, right? Where
Exactly.
whether or not it makes sense, but I will definitely have that discussion.
Ask them. And who pays for the utilities in this building? Is it part of the rent?
It's part of the rent.
Okay, so there wouldn't be individual meters for these places. It would be one
No,
meter for each building.
I think that's a very good concern that we will definitely take a look at.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how they pull that off, but,
If
so
they-
do they push the cost of the panels on each tenant then? How does that work?
Well,
That's
the
what-
way it would work is if we were able to sell it back and get the return on it. They wouldn't, the tenants aren't generating enough probably.
It would almost be a separate business as like a solar farm in addition to, because they don't need to supplement
Correct.
their electric in their unit.
There's a link on one of the county responses that encourages charging areas for patrons and/or occupants.
Yep.
A little, introductions into the green technologies. There is, reduced loan rates, grant funding, rebate packages. They're encouraging that. So, is that a requirement for the? No, it's just a consideration. Either by this owner, a tenant, who knows what's going to happen in the future, but
Right.
the opportunities are there. I'm sure that it could be beneficial at some point.
Uniland just put in a charging station at the office that I work at, so it's not like they're unfamiliar with the.
We're getting there.
ESCs.
We're seeing a lot of inquiries to retrofitting existing parking areas and providing charging stations. Is it something that's site plan reviewable? I don't think so.
No.
We're getting the inquiries, and it's very difficult to respond.
As far as electric vehicle on this site, addressing that one's probably a bit of a long shot for this. Really what makes sense is if there's somebody that needs charging bad enough, we would incorporate that in their unit and do, if we had to build out additional electrical for them or something. But it doesn't make sense for us to put individual parking spaces for EVs in this project.
Okay.
Is this, it's gonna be grass, right?
That is a grass area, yes.
Cool to have a park there.
It's not very big.
It's not that big.
You could,
It's bigger, it looks bigger on the plan, I think, than,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very big.
might as well just fill it up with whatever kinds of trees are there that you're cutting down, and that's what you put back, except for ash. Be planting dead trees.
Yeah, I think the only trees are in the south there.
No, but if, your map showed some cottonwoods and things, a lot of people don't like cottonwoods, but they actually have a lot of general use. And you could, just, I'm thinking about a buffer for the lights for the people down the street too.
sure.
And you throw a few picnic tables in there with dinner. Give people a place to sit for a little bit, maybe. It's up to you. But thank you for thinking about the solar.
It's easy enough for us to take a look, and when I'm back, I'll
You
just
just
let you
ask
know at
them.
least.
Yeah, we know you'll be coming back. I'm
And,
sure we'll be
and,
talking
and
about
if
it.
you came back with a plan with a center driveway and we all still said no, because it's a plan, once you get through the rules and regs that, so you understand our policies, then you'd be probably not happy.
Sure.
I have one last question. Are the curb cuts on the east side of pavement accurate on there?
Location, size, or
Yeah,
just?
like locations?
Yes.
I guess I'm just kind of looking at where your current proposed access are compared to
Oh, the properties across the street.
ones
Yeah.
across the street, and that might be an issue too with highway or whoever owns the road, right?
That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of access management. We have a town road that service the entire project. You know, we're looking at an overall site of an address of 4106 Walton Avenue. Building numbers, area numbers, I mean, what we spoke briefly in comments about the message boards and, you know, the wayfinding, you know, how do I get to this business? It's in this park. You can or parkway, it's going to be at this address and this building, right? But the overall site is 4106 Walton Avenue. That's how you get there from Square.
Addresses will be another thing we'll have to worry about.
That's another it's a discussion that we can have during this process. I'd like to have it sooner than later.
Is there a name on that town?
The road?
Yeah.
The road is still Lancaster Park.
Yeah, Lancaster Parkway.
It's the extension coming off.
Oh, it's extension
Yeah.
across, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would make sense. You know, if Lancaster Parkway West or something.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Ed, engineering.
No, he's got the comments. There were quite a few stormwater wise and some other stuff. One other comment I will bring up is the water line on pavement is relatively new. It was put in, I want to say maybe 4 years ago now, 5 years ago tops. We replaced the water line from Walden all the way to Genesee. At the corner of pavement and Walden, we requested an easement to, just on the corner, just to make the connections that the water authority wanted us to make. We still have not received that from Uniland. And I'm going to require that to be in place before I approve this.
You understand what we need there, right?
Yes, I understand. We can take a look at that.
If you need the easement again, I can send it to you again, let me know, but you should have
Yeah,
it.
just send it so I have it if you don't mind.
Okay. And,
Can it,
Yeah.
that can be tied to this though? Like we can not approve this based on that? Just,
according to
The two are on-
according to the town attorney, yes, it can.
I'm just asking because it's,
I understand.
it's not related,
I understand.
but.
I know, you're stuck with.
It's part of the site. This is all one site.
And I'm not saying we don't want to do it. I just need to go back and talk to people and need to know.
Well,
where-
to be honest with you, we tried for 8 months to get the easement, and we got no response from Uniland, so.
Okay. Yeah, send it my way. We'll.
Do you have a
I'll
card?
give-
It's
I'll
at
give you a
your email?
response. Yeah.
Yep, thanks.
Anything else, Ed?
No.
Emily, anything from law?
I don't have anything.
Nothing yet, anyway. Matt, building.
I'll go backwards on my comment letter, it's more pertinent. So, in the interim, while we're waiting for the May 1st review, I strongly advise that we communicate with our town attorney's office for several items. First, the stormwater facility maintenance agreement. Let's get that thing dialed in, ready for filing on the recommendation here. A maintenance agreement plan was recommended for the proposed vegetative screening on the north side of that property to make sure that the trees that are planted remain and are kept alive. We're finding that several old projects, everything dies off, you chop them down, and no replacement is made, so the buffers are eliminated just from a natural lifespan of a tree. We spoke about briefly about the address numbers, building identifications, and I'd love to have that conversation preferably before that May 1st date, so we're not delayed anymore with the project itself.
That's just in general to the how we're addressing these.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a strong stance on that, so yeah, let's figure out what makes sense.
I think our conversation is going to lead to that
Yeah.
result, so
So-
that if and when we do future developments, it's a seamless process moving forward. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. We spoke briefly on the proposed use and occupancy of the tenant spaces. We're going to review them as they come in, and if parking becomes an issue, it's either going to limit or restrict certain tenants, or we'll have to, react to whatever the parking needs are of those tenants. We want to fill this place up to 100%.
Not any more than they do, I'm sure.
And we do, you know what, feel good about this. We feel like this is a starting point to this. We have had a lot of interest lately in Eastport, which is nice. I don't know if just a little bit of publicity is starting to kind of get that going a little bit, but I'm hoping I'm back before you with a few more soon, so.
That'd be great. Matt, you saw the totes, waste disposal with totes. You saw the response to that?
I did see that. I didn't quite understand it, so it's going to be a privately provided waste removal system?
Yes.
Right, okay, as long as that's somewhere understood?
Yep.
Make it a part of the lease agreements or, whatever deed restrictions that are on that portion of the site. I'm unsure whether or not that may be sufficient for the occupancy, but that's up to the tenant to determine, right?
You know what, I wouldn't disagree with that. This is our starting point for us. We do just to, we have the ability to put dumpsters in this, that's part of like this area. I know it's not ideal, we will screen. I know the next question, but I think that was one of those, we're gonna see how it goes with our tenants. If that's a big demand, we'll have no choice. So,
That was the whole point of the comment.
Yep.
We're going to have a dumpster, we're going to have it enclosed, we'll need to have it screened properly.
so what we're proposing is not to start with one. If it's required at some point with our tenants, we will put that in, we will come back, screen it properly, and go through the proper channels.
Great. Matt, anything else?
That's all, thank you.
Supervisor Leary?
No, I have no questions at this point. My own comments, I think everybody here asked all the appropriate questions already, saving me none to ask. So thank you, good job. We do want development there, but obviously, as said, we want it to be done right.
Understood.
I have one last question. We're talking about dumpsters. How about outside storage? Are any of these buildings planning on having any place for anything stored outside by a tenant?
That's
Like
not,
filling up the parking places
that is not our intention.
okay, so
No.
you're going to police that?
That is correct. Yeah,
Okay.
we would typically put that in the lease, that's not allowed
Okay.
for,
Yeah, because sometimes you come around and someone has rented a unit, and next thing you know, they're putting their boat in one of your parking places.
yep, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, we will police that. We have a good property management team. They like to take care of that stuff.
At this point, we'll open it up to public for any questions or comments.
Beauty going last.
We just want to make sure that we're giving the public an opportunity to speak. Anything else from the board?
Can I interject one other thing while I'm standing here, if I have your ears? Just on a side, Eastport related, but a side note from this project, if we're set with this, is that fair?
Yep.
There is a roadway that stems up, and if you don't mind, can I? Good talk. You can go back.
We have to table this one though, right?
Yeah, we have to table it because it's anything else to provide.
Yeah.
And you come back with a plan with no damn driveway.
I apologize.
Before we get to that, I just want to make sure we end this
Yeah.
particular one. So
Great.
look for a motion at this point to table.
So move.
Second by Joe. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, great.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Kirk, we're all yours.
Sorry.
So I believe in your packets, I had put a survey in there. There was an existing survey. I don't know if anybody has That's it. I think that's the winner.
Can I see that?
We have when this project was built out, we have that main roadway that goes through this Lancaster Parkway. And there is a portion here that's a stub up from there that continues from the stub down that connects the road. This is actually owned by the town.
But
It's
it-
an odd little piece. Years ago, we started discussions on it, never really went anywhere. I guess I'm asking your thoughts on us proposing to take it back, purchase it, however we work from the town. We've had a couple of tenants that are looking in that area and really have no need for that roadway to exist. But right now, if we had somebody go in there, that would create an issue.
You're talking about some big buildings that,
Potentially back in that area, yep, back in there. Right. So yeah, this is perfect. There's this stub way here.
on paper.
So if we, just per se, if you want to come in and build a large building in this area, that roadway is an issue.
Oh, because the
It's a-
paper road.
It's a paper
Yeah,
street,
paper street, yeah.
right.
So it's something that, I don't know what the process would be, I don't know who needs to bless that, but I just bring it to your attention, and maybe have that discussion, I guess.
Yeah.
I would suggest that you speak with building department and Supervisor Leary and the town,
In town attorney's office.
town attorney's office
Okay.
It's like a quick claim deed.
to see what the appetite is for that.
Okay.
This board would not be the ones that would take action on that. It would be the
Town board?
Yeah, the others, yes.
A request was made in 2020 for that very action. There was a portion of the town right-of-way that was deeded over upon the closeout of the public improvement permits that installed the roadway. Currently, as it stands, we do have Eastport Drive, which is the name of the road, and Eastport Crossing that terminates at Eastport Drive, but was originally permitted to extend 500 feet north towards Pleasant View Drive that was never constructed. So it was throughout the course of construction, that's how it was closed, but the right of way, upon acceptance of the roadway, the deed transfer incorporated that section of the right of way in an area for a proper dead end termination, a turnaround termination. But that's still on the deed. So whether or not the town has that appetite to do that, I know that in 2020, the correspondence was received. It was referred to the town board at the time, February 4th of 2021, but no action was taken. I'm uncertain of the legalities of how you transfer your right-of-way. I'm not sure if it needs to be deemed surplus, auction, whatever it is. We should probably research that and see if the board would be willing to go ahead and complete that transaction.
The board being the town board.
Yes, that's fair. That's, yeah. I guess
Yeah.
there wouldn't be any issues from your end, or maybe there are. I guess that's why I bring it to your attention. 'cause it's-
I am obviously only one person, but that thing's been empty for so long, and it'd be a great place for an access to a big building that takes that whole parcel. But again, it's not my decision, and I'm only one member of the
It's
board.
definitely not this board's decision.
Gotcha.
Just
For-
past your
We're
pay
clear.
grade.
For $1 and no more.
What's coming to my head though is it Ward Road that is private? Is it Ward? What's the wrong?
Ward Road is a very simple, well, no.
Which one is it? Is it?
Ward Road is a dead-end street
And-
with a T turnaround.
And
That
then,
was
and then it continues for other buildings.
No.
Then I'm thinking of the wrong,
Private driveways were permitted off of that
right.
turnaround section,
Right.
and it's become a little bit of an issue at this point with all the development that's happening there. That's a different discussion.
It is, but that happened. And so what we have to be careful of is it doesn't happen here.
Well,
That's
one
all.
more time, I'm gonna go back to our first applicant, that we need to see these deed documents. We
Right.
have to make sure that the descriptions of those boundaries are accurate as it relates to the real-time project. I mean, the project was permitted with X amount of lineal feet of infrastructure. During construction, it was reduced for whatever reason,
Yeah,
and it was allowed to be reduced. The infrastructure wasn't installed, but when we closed the PIPs, the deed transferred in its original state where it probably should have been modified.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You can see the complication of it, though.
It's okay.
We can.
It's okay. It's good that we're bringing these up.
Without that conversation, we're not going to resolve this.
Right.
And more, that conversation and many more.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so we tabled,
Yeah.
Tabled your
You-
project?
You were gonna get us a copy of the core report of the wetlands and.
Yep. And I owe some comments
And
back.
you've got a list of things to
Yep.
discuss.
Yep.
And we need another plan without driveways
and better
and
landscaping.
better landscaping. And some imagination.
Kill the messenger.
Thank you.
And a maintenance plan for perpetuity of tree planting, living.
Thank you, I appreciate the
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, I ask the board if there's any other question, any comments for, or discussion points that they want to have?
I always do. We were sent some information about a local law regarding speed limits. Could someone please touch on,
We're looking at reducing the speed limit on Stutzman Road, if that's what you're talking about.
well, I don't know what it was about, because all I saw was a copy of a referral to the county for review, and I didn't see what the law was. It just
It
talked.
didn't say anything about what roads, or it just said something about speed limit.
I don't know what you're talking about then.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe you have a copy of it, but we are.
It had to do with seeker and the speed limit.
Right,
Thank you.
right.
'Cause that's all we knew. I know that at one point, I thought that the state kind of relinquished some of its control over local municipalities on what they can
We
assign.
have a designation here in the town of Lancaster, which is suburban town.
Yeah.
Suburban town, is that the correct designation?
I think so, yeah. So, yes.
So we can make our own decisions on the local roadways, and we're going to look at Stutzman, bring it down from 35 to 30, and also the portion of Warner Road that is 35, also bringing that down to 30. So that's what the town board is going to have a public hearing on in the next meeting.
It actually came from your office.
That-
But we don't have to go to
Just
the
the
county, the
referral.
state, or anybody anymore, since we're a suburban township.
Right, because I know that portion of the state law was eased, and I just didn't know what this was about, because there's a lot of roads you're going to be looking at with speed limits
And weight limits.
and weight limits.
I live on one. Amazon trucks constantly.
Me too.
You're on Westwood, right?
Westwood.
That's a
I'm
county
on
road.
Lake Avenue.
That's a county
Supposed to
road.
be on there. We have a office, are we on, it doesn't matter, but we basically have sent an officer for training with the New York State Police, and will be able to enforce not just the ticket for driving on the wrong road, but all the other stuff that comes with trucks, and try to encourage them to go through the truck route and not be driving on Westwood and not be driving on pavement or any of the rest of those streets that they're not supposed to be on. So they're potentially looking at some bigger tickets for what they're doing, and we will take a trip over there. And within the next couple of months, I want to go over there. We talked to them during the winter time because the trucks were showing up to get into Amazon and everything was closed, so we had to deal with them. But anyone over there has to know that they have to do something to stop this from occurring. They claim they're independent truckers, but again, they know that in 5 minutes the truck's showing up, so there is communication between them and the trucks. And, they gotta stop.
There was the one snowstorm, there was just one truck stuck in the intersection of Schwartz and Westwood. And there was another one stuck at the intersection of Westwood and Pavement,
Tractor trailer?
tractor trailers. I took my little tractor down and moved the one on a transit Westwood.
Did you really?
Yeah, just to get them out of the road. But, I mean, I can't tell you how many times those trucks go down that road, which is not meant for that weight.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the town roads are posted for, I think, 6 ton.
We did put up all the signs and whatnot, but again, and then the enforcement is there to a point, and then when this gentleman comes back with his training, he'll be the truck guy.
Good.
Truck back.
Okay.
Right, get DOT training on DOT inspections.
Give them my address, they can park in my driveway.
Anything else from the board? Ed, anything left? Anything else from you? No? Emily?
No.
Matt?
Hi.
Hi.
Just wanted to update this board on a couple of projects that are pending, and are just, they're getting stale. During my floodplain recertification, we have one location that's in the plain, and I've tried my best to request the proper information so that we can make an informative recommendation that accommodates all the standards. I'm sensing a little bit of stonewalling at this point, and rather than drag this thing out 7-8 months for them to realize that we mean business, I prefer to bring them in and ask them whether or not they plan on designing to the standard or to withdraw their application and just be done with that. Because we have a lot of open, unresolved applications that are old, molding, and I fear a lack of action by the board may result in default approvals, and I don't want that to happen. Establishing those lines of communication to help as much as we possibly can is important, but we can't design these projects for them. It's their responsibility to show us all the information necessary to give us a proper approval. So I'm becoming a little bit more aggressive with that, only because the workload is too much, the backlog is overwhelming, and I just want to ease the pain for this board, having to review things you looked at 8-9 months ago.
Okay, great.
Right?
Thought you said you were going to update. Was there something else that you were going to update on? Thought you said a couple of projects, or just in general?
Well, in general, I mean, I don't want to specifically name them tonight.
Okay,
Because it's
fair
not
enough.
a public forum,
Yep.
it's not a proper hearing.
Yep.
But I've had those communications, you've been copied.
I have.
A lot of the correspondence. I don't want to inundate the board with the communications.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Supervisor Larry?
Nice job, everybody. I love all the questions, and, we're resolving issues that weren't resolved perhaps in the past before you guys sat on this board, and that's what it's all about, the planning department and everything that's going on, so thank you for what you're doing.
Did you want to give a quick update on the moratorium Monday meetings, or?
Moratorium meetings, we're looking at this point, we've identified pretty much the green space. We're going to be walking green space, town engineer, myself, and some others who are going to go out and take a look at that. The concentration, in my opinion, at this point is turning to changing the code or doing recommendations, changing the code. That's going to be up to several people to be looking at what we have right now in different areas. And I got some recommendations myself. That's what we're going to cover in the next meeting. I did go to an LVAC dinner Saturday night, and I got the gentleman from LVAC is going to come and entertain the Moratorium Monday group and talk about the ambulances. They got over 7,500 calls. I believe it was over 7,000 last year. They're up to 9 ambulances. It's another thing that's part of this whole moratorium thing. How are we going to deal with the EMS concerns in this town as it grows? So we're going to bring them in. I talked to Chief Gummo. He's going to come in and talk to the moratorium group. Probably try to get them at the same time in May. And get those people all in there to talk about what they think needs to be done as well. But I think at this point, with the changes that we talked about, once those are into code, into law, I think we're in pretty good shape there, and we got to follow up with the other things, like the police, like the fire, like the LVAC. But I think things are going pretty well at this point.
Good. Okay. Anything else, Supervisor?
No, again, thank you very much for what you do.
Okay. At this point, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. No, I want to keep going.